right? Page 491. And it says right here, this is from a scripture, Isaiah 44, verse 6. I am the first and I am the last, and beside me is no God. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have none other gods before me. This is Deuteronomy 5, 6, and 7. Thou shalt have none other gods before me. Key point I want to point out here is that he says that I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. So Egypt means the house of bondage or the land of bondage and stuff like that. They always tell you what they're talking about with whatever comes after what was first mentioned. See him there? Sir T.
Going on, sir, Chris. Good morning. Greetings. Still
Greetings,
out
my
here
friend.
on still out here on the drive.
Okay, okay. All right. At least we know you're on board and thing, you know? And this thing is yeah, yeah, man.
Yes, yeah, I'm hearing you. I'll be in and out, but I'm on right now.
Okay, brother. All right, all right. Um, so yes. So notice he mentioned that I am the first and I am the last, and beside me there is no God, no other God. So when people start to mention about the devil, if you mention the devil, you are saying that there is another God. Might not be saying this other God is like God or like the creator or the almighty, but if you mention that there is another, whether that other is as powerful, lesser than, or more than, you have violated the first law. Okay? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. All right? And you can look at it by saying like this: put the me as yourself and say like this: I must have no other gods before me. What you're saying is, other than yourself, you cannot look externally for another who is God, because God dwells within. God is your awareness of being. All right. So that was what the scripture was trying to tell you, that there is no other power other than the power that lies within yourself. And that power is your own awareness of being, your own consciousness, your own imagination. It is the only power that there is, and it is within you. And more importantly, it is you, but you don't know. You have forgotten that you are the Almighty, that you are the higher being. But you have been, you have caught up in, been caught up in the world and stuff like that. You are in Egypt and you're in the land of bondage, so you don't know. It says right here, as long as a man, or long as man entertains a belief in a power apart from himself, so long will he rob himself of the being that he is. Every belief in powers apart from himself, whether for good or evil, will become the mold of the graven image worship. That is powerful right there. Every um, belief in powers apart from himself, whether it be good or evil, will become the mold of the graven image. So you are creating a graven image. Okay? You're creating an image or molding an image because of your external perception of a God separate and apart from you, or power separate and apart from you, right? And this is the just the thought of a God outside of yourself is idolatry. Have nothing to do with building a a golden calf, as scripture says, or some image. Nothing to do with that. Just you are wearing a necklace or stuff like that. Not anything to do with something physical. Just the perception of an external God is the molding of a graven image because you are imagining something separate and apart from you that does not even exist. And that is why it is considered blasphemy. Yes, sir, T.
Yes, sir,
So,
Chris. Yeah, yeah, very, very important that point that you brought about, that just the thought, just the imagination of an external being and ascribing power to that being. That's what idolatry is. And technically, what religion has done is religion has ensured that you have an idol. Give you one. And to make sure you have one, give you one alone, and give you two. It give you God and the devil. Give you two idols. And if you choose anyone out of two, most people choose both. If you believe in a God and believe in a devil, that's two idols you have. Because believing in God and believing in the devil, what you have done, you've split your power that is supposed to be yours and split it in two and give God half and give the devil half. So now you have none left. Because there isn't a man where believing in the devil but don't believe the devil have power. Anybody will believe in the devil, they will tell us Satan strong. Them believe in the devil and them give the devil power, and them believe in God and them give God power as well. So now them not have no power left. Because if something good happen, them ascribe it unto God, and if something bad happen, them ascribe it unto the devil. So they are making these parties responsible for every powerful thing that happens, whether it be a positive powerful or a negative powerful.
right?
So they leave themselves impotent. Like I don't have the potential to do anything. Everything that happens is either God or the devil.
Look at that.
You know, I was just talking to somebody a while ago and we hear the loud Christian music in the background a blaze and one. And I'm just thinking, you see the way of them, set the clock in our head. Sunday morning, nobody now tell us to turn on gospel music. But yesterday evening, I hear and go with him slip and touch the slide down and that play and I see him phone and I see him person. These are the kind of things that it just drives you so far away from yourself that before long you don't even know who you are. You don't even know if you are the Yulangoli girl or you are the Jesus out time over.
Yeah, man, you're serving two masters,
You're serving two masters.
Mm-hmm.
You're serving two masters and you can't even blame these people because I bet them grow up and see you grew up seeing your mother being a hypocrite. Your father being a hypocrite, your pastor you grew up seeing it. So after a while, being a hypocrite just becomes so natural and normal that you just do it.
Everybody doing it.
Yeah,
Solomon Gomorrah.
so it's very important, man. Pick a struggle, pick a side. Do you believe in this God or not? Do you believe in this devil or not? And if you really examine it, you're going to realize that you don't believe in it. You're just following, you don't believe in it.
Rightly said, Sir T. You know, it is a powerful unfortunate, it's a powerful what I call it now, entrapment that we've fallen into, wherein if we don't believe that the devil exists, that we are we don't believe scripture, or we don't believe the Bible. So we have to accept that the devil lives or the devil exists, or else we're not really believers, or we don't accept what scripture says to be true. And like I said earlier, scripture is written symbolically. It is written in parables, it's written in metaphors, figures of speech, exaggeration. Um, it's a mystery that they're writing about, which is your consciousness. And they write it in a way where you can identify with your external world. You understand? But you're not supposed to take what you read as a fact or as a story, what they're trying to tell you. They're giving you um something on the surface, but you're supposed to dig below that to find the actual meaning, to go within. You understand? So that's what we're saying here. If the Bible mentions the devil, God, and all these different characters, you know, simultaneously or whatever, it's not telling you that there are two omnipotent being who are running this world. It is trying to show you that on a human level, we're like dual beings, we're duality. You understand? We are flesh and we are spirit. Okay. And so in this world, vibrating on a lower level, you're going to have these indifferences in trying to find out who you are or what you are and where you are and so on and so forth. And you're going to have these tug of war between what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's evil, who's God and who's the devil, all these different things. We would not realize that we're dealing with one power, with one source. But what's happening is this particular force, our source, your consciousness, you know, can be used in the right way or in the wrong way. And so when it's used in the right way, naturally you will say that is God. If it's used in the opposite, that's the devil. But it's not telling you that there are two beings. It's just telling you you are operating the power against the flow of things. And that's when something evil or evilish or devilish um, may occur or can happen in your experience. But it's not telling you that there's another power that's causing this. It's like you driving on the wrong side of the road. I want road, but you're on the wrong side. You're going against the traffic. So something adverse must happen. You cannot then say, oh, there are two roads. That's why I have an accident. No, you drove on the wrong side. But I want road going both directions. You understand? But you're not going with the flow that you're supposed to operate on or from. So it's the same thing here with what we're talking about today. Yes, sir, T.
Yeah, to say that there is two different beings, two different powers called God and devil, it would be like Moses looking at his rod and calling one end of the rod God, then when holding my hand, and call the other end of the rod the devil. It
And
would
I
be
want
like
to
that. And I want a rod, and him use one end of the rod when he wants part the Red Sea, or he wants to bring the plague from Egypt, he use one end of the rod and turn around, use the other end when him go strike the rock to get himself in trouble. That it would be like you're saying that.
Yeah.
It's just the one power. As a matter of fact, everything is one thing. And except for that one thing, there is nothing. Nothing. Everything is one thing. In other words, it all, and I don't want to use the word start because nothing never start. But if you should go to the crucible of the thing, you're going to realize that it's one original thing that is
Mm.
just being expressed in many different ways. It's just one original thing. As you always like to use the example of the electricity that comes in into into the development where you live. Now, one electricity come in there, brother.
Yeah.
And based upon what is your need, you take 120 volts while the next man take 240. Depends on
Mm.
what your need is.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that's why it is. It is just one existing thing that is self-existing.
Yeah.
It's any way you want to look at it, there is something exists without cause. There is a self-existing thing, or if you want to call it God, you can call it that. But
Hmm.
something is there that just simply is. We have come and grown to know that thing is consciousness.
Yeah.
Consciousness is the thing that simply is. If you want to say call it God, you can call it God as long as a consciousness you attack. As long as when you explain it, it's not a man where make some decisions and a man who decided one day because he would say, no, maybe don't want it. No. There was no thought put into doing any of no building, no earth, and no, everything simply is. It's just consciousness expressing itself as an earth,
Yeah.
consciousness expressing itself as life form, consciousness expressing itself as a rock, and that's all it is. And if we were to give any reverence to anything at all, if we were to give anything, any reverence to anything at all, it would be consciousness that we would have to be giving the reverence to, because it is consciousness that is expressing itself as all things.
Yeah.
Even the bad thing that you call bad, that's consciousness expressing itself in this way. And all it is saying to you, if you're noticing, not change about it, it's always the same thing. When consciousness expresses itself as what you call negative or bad, if you trace it backwards, you will see exactly where that negative, where that bad came from. If you don't want to see it again, just don't go back there. If you go back there, you are going to see it again, because consciousness does not negotiate with anybody. Consciousnness cannot be altered or changed. It cannot be bribed. It cannot. You can't sweet mouth it. You can't do anything like that. It simply is. That's why consciousness is God, because God is.
Yeah.
The consciousness simply is. If you don't like the way your consciousness express itself to you, then change the way you are expressing yourself to it. And that's the only way you can. That's the only way you can alter consciousness, is by changing your approach to the thing. As long as you keep approaching consciousness in that way, the result is always gonna be what the result has been.
Yeah.
Argument 98.
Not at all.
It cannot be negotiated. Consciousness cannot be negotiated. It cannot be. You can't do anything at all to it except apply what Neville calls the law. What is the law?
The
The law.
Lord.
The Lord. The law is the Lord. Consciousness, from where we are at, the only way to access it is via your inner man, via your imagination. And whatever you go within and prepare, that is what you're going to come outside and meet. Simple as that.
Nothing
Back to you,
more.
sir. Back to
Nothing more.
you.
Nothing less.